Today on the net, online reports of an attack on UN observers in Syria. In the US, Obama and Romney attack each other on jobs. And a hospital in America broadcasts brain surgery live on Twitter. In this footage filmed on Wednesday, we see 6 members of a UN observer mission leaving the town of Khan Shaykhun in northern Syria. Some of their vehicles are being taken away by lorries after a roadside bomb hit the convoy during their visit to this town in the province of Idlib. The attack coincided with a funeral procession for a man killed in clashes the previous week as violence grips the region. As this online video suggests, the presence of UN observers seemed to have emboldened the mourning crowds. And we hear them shout out slogans attacking the Bashar al-Assad regime just several meters away from security forces, who proceed to open fire. And just several moments after they started shooting, there was an explosion next to the UN mission's vehicles where protesters had been gathering. The government and the opposition both accuse the other of being responsible for the attack. None of the UN observers were wounded. They were immediately taken to safety by the Free Syrian Army. They spent the night with members of the opposition and were picked up by UN representatives the next day. In the meantime, however, the violence continues across the region. Here we see an officer from the Free Syrian Army claim responsibility for an attack on a regular army checkpoint. And this video apparently shows several tanks belonging to government troops being deployed to Khan Shaykhun after the observers had left. Campaigning is in full swing in the US ahead of November's presidential election. A great deal of the campaigning is taking place on the web, where Barack Obama and his likely Republican presidential opponent, Mitt Romney, are taking swipes at each other in videos they post on the web. At the center of this online conflict, the country's economic situation. In his latest campaign ad aired on the web since Monday, the current US president criticizes the Mormon candidate, saying the man who describes himself as the only person capable of getting American economy back on track is actually no more than a profit-hungry businessman who has no qualms in firing employees if it means making more money. His comments are illustrated by a video featuring accounts from several former workers from Kansas who say Mitt Romney is directly responsible for the closure of the factory they worked in and the loss of their jobs. The former governor for Massachusetts campaign team wasted no time in responding to this criticism and produced this ad called American Dream, also released on Monday. It features men and women declare that contrary to what Barack Obama might say, Mitt Romney is an ingenious entrepreneur, responsible for creating thousands of jobs, and that it's largely thanks to him that they're currently employed. The video, which hails Mitt Romney's management skills, was followed by a second ad on Tuesday, this one delivering a harsh attack on his Democrat opponent. The video gives the floor to some of the 23 million Americans who have become unemployed during Obama's presidency, and says the current head of state gave the country so much hope upon his election, but after 4 years in office, it has to be concluded that the country's economic situation is far from resolved. Last week, a 21-year-old from the US had a tumor surgically removed from her brain, and the operation was followed by thousands of web users across the globe. The Herman Memorial Hospital in Houston, Texas, posted running commentary, photos and videos to Twitter throughout the 4-hour operation. Each stage of the surgery was explained to web users, many of whom were medical students. Dr. Kim and his team also took questions from followers in a bid to demystify medical procedures of this type. Thousands of web users from all over the world who had just bought the Diablo III video game found themselves confronted with the Error 17 message. Released on Tuesday, the highly anticipated latest installment of this popular series became a victim of its own success. The game functions using an internet connection and the servers were quickly saturated, so players couldn't connect and were unable to play. Many have been sharing their frustration on social networks as they wait to finally discover the game's fantasy universe. Lichtfaktor is a group of German artists based in Cologne who are experts in light painting. You can see this photographic technique for yourself in this magnificent video, in which the artists transform the streets of their hometown into an urban jungle, home to all sorts of creatures.